This week, Donald Trump's stance on the environment has been laid clear. It's right out there for anybody to see what he's going to do in terms of climate change and toxins in your water. It's all out there, but unfortunately, people are really distracted with North Korea and Syria, perhaps understandably. So we're gonna try to catch you up at the close of this week on what's going on. First, we have Scott Pruitt, though, head of the EPA. He's got a major address on the future of environmental regulation, which he's gonna deliver in this video from a coal mine.
Many of you from across your company were with us in Washington, D.C. Approximately 2 weeks ago. At the EPA, President Trump, along with Vice President Pence, Secretary Zinke and Secretary Perry and myself were there to recognize the signing of an executive order that said the war on coal is done. It's something that's really sad over the last several years that a regulatory body, the federal government of the United States, would declare a war on any part of our economy. This complex, as Jimmy indicated, largest underground mining complex in the country. You have an underground training center. You use some of the latest mining technologies in the industry. I'm looking forward to putting on those suits you got on, going down and checking it out, and having fun doing so because I want to learn.
So that sounds like a lobbyist for the coal industry. He's the guy who's supposed to be protecting the environment, talking about the war on coal is now over, which is awesome. So he's at a coal mine. It's a particularly bad coal mine for this set of issues because Consol Energy, which operates that mine, was fined $3 million back in August for discharging contaminated wastewater into streams that flow into the Ohio River. In the settlement with the EPA and the Justice Department, it emerged that the mining operation exceeded the effluent limits at least 188 times over a 9-year period. But that's the one that he chose to speak from. Also ironic in that that company has indicated that it wants to exit the coal business entirely. But the war on coal is over, so now I guess you can leave because it's safe, there's no war anymore. And so, look, Scott Pruitt, we've been reporting on him for several months. He's a particularly bad guy when it comes to this issue, but overall, Trump's approach to the EPA is horrendous. The Trump administration's proposed budget cuts the agency's budget by 3%, it's actually larger than that. Recently leaked EPA documents outline plans to cut the workforce by 25% while eliminating some 56 programs, including programs aimed at monitoring and protecting public health and the environment, which is sort of the point of that organization. They're also proposing sharp cuts in the EPA's Office of Criminal Enforcement, with the budget calling for reductions in civil and criminal enforcement of almost 60%, leaving just $4 million for all of their investigations. You might have also missed, it came out this week that Scott Pruitt, the guy from that video, is asking for 10 additional full-time bodyguards. So remember, $4 million for investigations into infringements on the environment. The estimated cost of those 10 additional bodyguards for 1 year, $8 million.
Bodyguards for himself?
For himself.
Why 10?
Because the left hates him so much that he's scared for his life. Because they foment additional.
Around the clock.
He already has protection. It's 10 additional bodyguards.
Yeah. That's the
and it would cost far more than all of their enforcement efforts on violations concerning the environment.
And that's the irony of this, right? Because they're literally removing the protections for the people of America, things that affect millions of people in America, the protections around our water and around our air and around how much chemical you can dump downstream from somebody's drinking well, right? Yeah. They're removing the protections for the people and they're enhancing the protections for the people in their administration.
Well, after you let people dump toxic wastewater, you probably need the extra bodyguards.
Who's going to attack him? Who's going to try to hurt him?
Libs.
I mean,
environmentalists.
Environmentalists? I mean,
that's who they're really afraid of. They're literally afraid of.
They say that's who they're afraid of.
Environmentalists, right? And it's projection, though, right? Because they would think if someone poisoned my children, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking kill them. That's what they think, right? They're the Second Amendment gun-toting nut jobs that are like, hey, if somebody did that to me, I'd kill them. So if we're gonna do this to millions of people, we should probably add protection because someone might wanna kill us. But it's really projection on their part.
This seems like a no-win at the federal level. I think people in states are going to have to just basically declare war on the feds when it comes to environmentalism. And essentially protect their own state, openly defy them.
Well, that's why he needs bodyguards.
And there you go. I mean, they're going to have to adjudicate all this stuff. Yeah, like California is. I mean, basically, fuck you, we're not doing this.
Right. Yeah. And Pruitt is the guy who sent letters to the EPA saying, like, complaining on behalf of the industry. They literally took a letter from an energy company, put it on his letterhead when he was like, Attorney General or Secretary of State from wherever the hell he was from. And sent it to the EPA saying, remove these regulations, remove these restrictions, right? He's an industry shill in public office. And it's just and he's like against everything the EPA stands for.
And the media doesn't report on any of this shit because you know what's not sexy to them? Environmental stories.
No, not at all.
They don't care.
And it's part of Bannon's like larger deconstruction project. They're appointing people to the heads of these government agencies who will deconstruct them, who will cripple and break and toss away the federal government apparatus. I like the government. You know what the government created? The internet, okay? Does everybody love the internet here? I love the internet. Do you love the internet? Our government does really cool things, right? They do some stupid things, but they do really cool things too.
I like environmental regulations.
Yeah,
I like protections for the environment. I like protections for public health.
I like water.
Also happening this week, the Trump administration paused an Obama-era regulation aimed at limiting the dumping of toxic metals such as arsenic and mercury by the nation's power plants into public waterways. Obama was going to stop that. They've now stopped the stopping, and so that stuff can go back into your water. Also, he announced this week, Scott Pruitt did, that we need to get out of the Paris Climate Accords. So you potentially have that to look forward to.
If you're a member of the Young Turks, you not only get the whole 2-hour Young Turks show on demand anytime you want, ad-free, but you also get so many other shows. Old School, you'll love it. Aggressive Progressive for guys who are true progressives. Now also Nerd Alert for gaming and tech. What the Flick for movie reviews. You will love it. Check it out right now at tytnetwork.com/join.